Happy New Year, everybody! 2017 is here and I feel absolutely no different from last year. You know, I think we should kick off the year by doing the only proper thing, stopping and taking a look back at 2016.
One last time.
This is going to be a list of my favorite games of 2016 in no particular order, and also I want to note, the games in this list do not have to have a 2016 release date. I'm just going to base this on whether or not I've played the game in 2016. Because, you know, I can't always play every new game when it comes out, I'm not fucking rich. So with all that out of the way, let me just pull up my list here. Yes, I actually wrote a script for this video, it's one of the few because I never do that. You should feel lucky. Journey is a game about life. It represents the endless cycle of life, beginning and end of not only the big journey of life itself, but all the little adventures we take in between. There's not much to the story or lore of the game because those things are all interpreted by you, the player. Certain items or locations or creatures in the game will mean different things to everyone who experiences their journey. The goal in this case is going to a mountain. Both the player and the character feel intrigued to see what awaits them. The mountain could mean anything to you. Maybe there's a boy or girl you really like, perhaps you want to buy something or do something great. The mountain represents your goal and the journey is your path to success, so you embark on a journey to find out just what this monument has in store for you. And once you reach the end, you begin a new journey. But this time you're wiser, you know the path ahead, and each time is different from the last. I believe the game tells a story of humanity as a whole. One person, clueless to what lies ahead, sets out to find answers. Then another person arises after the first has completed his or her goal, and this new person sets out to discover what the first has already found. And the cycle continues on and on and on, the cycle of life.
We blame it on compulsion, selfishness, madness. I suppose the idea is, if you name a thing, you can control it. There are things in this world that cannot be named.
The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is changing the way I look at exploration games. It's mysterious, compelling, unsettling, and absolutely gorgeous. If I may have just a moment to admire the graphics here, this is hands down the most beautiful game I have ever seen. The developers used a technique called photogrammetry to mimic lifelike realism, and judging by my time spent with the game, I have nothing but praise for it. The game is so gorgeous, sometimes I forget I'm sitting in front of my TV and could swear I'm looking through a window. Anyone who says consoles aren't ready or powerful enough to handle hyper-realistic graphics obviously has not played this game yet. Now on the story side of things, there's a lot of mystery and the game does not hold your hand at all. You're left to explore and discover whatever you want, and no matter what you find, it always seems to link together very well. One minute you'll be examining bear traps in the forest, and the next minute you'll find a note to read. Then you'll find something that relates to the note you just read, and then that object leads to another clue, so on and so forth. It also doesn't seem to matter which object you discover first, it just all fits together very well, and I think that's great design. I definitely recommend this game if you're looking for a beautiful world to relax in, or you want to play detective and unravel the secrets to the vanishing of Ethan Carter.
Ready? Say cheese. Hello? Mr. Munchie? Did something go wrong?
Soma. This game is truly a gem of the current gaming scene. With so many games attempting to copy and be like each other, Soma sets out to break those standards and is truly a unique experience. You are Simon Jarrett, a 20-something-year-old Toronto native who has suffered serious brain damage due to a car accident. He seeks the help of a doctor in training who is actually more like a mad scientist. The guy doesn't even have a proper clinic or any employees. After taking a seat for your brain scan, you awake in Pathos 2, a seemingly abandoned facility that holds many dark secrets. Greeted with disbelief and confusion, the first thing you might say would be, "Is this a nightmare?" Simon, much like the player, is very lost and confused, carefully exploring the creepy hallways of Pathos 2 in search of answers, or at the very least, a way back home. As you progress, it becomes more and more apparent to you and Simon that there isn't an escape from this reality, and this is where the big question comes in. The game asks the player, is what you think to be real actually real? Simon thought his normal life was real until he woke up in Pathos 2. The game proposes the idea that your normal life is a dream. This is reality. Imagine how scary it must be to think your normal life is real. You get used to things like sleeping in a warm bed or drinking coffee in the morning, watching movies with your friends, and then suddenly you get thrown into this hostile and frightening world full of unfamiliar places, faces, and things. Desperately trying to find a way back to reality, only to ultimately accept that this is reality, and the peaceful world you once lived in was actually just a dream all along. Soma's brilliance is what truly sets it apart from other horror and exploration games and is a definite must-play in my book. Okay, I know I'm probably going to catch hate for this, but let's just get it out of the way. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 makes this list because I genuinely had a great time with it, and since the majority of the game's life took place in 2016, I'm counting it as a 2016 game. Zombies was fantastically fun, the maps were great, the characters were lovable and funny as always. The multiplayer was lacking in some departments, but as long as you don't take it too seriously, it can be quite fun. And even though the story wasn't presented very well, if you take the time to study the lore and put all the pieces together, there's actually a really good underlying plot. But let's be honest, zombies is where it's at. Yes, I know I'm late to the party on this one, but I am having a blast in Fallout 4. I've never been an RPG guy, but this game may very well change that. I'm sure you've already heard the rave and good news about Fallout 4, but you're here for my thoughts anyway, right? Simply put, the game is a never-ending source of fun. There is a plethora of stuff to do, places to explore, and people to meet. I love engaging in conversation with survivors and trying to make new friends. Having companions accompany you on your journey makes things a little less boring and lonely. And it's also really awesome that the companions can actually pronounce your name. That's just so cool to me that a developer finally made a game where the AI can say my name and get it right. That really hit home with me. Each companion has their own specialties too. I like the dog because he's cute, and that's pretty much it. And I like Codsworth because he can really tear the shit out of people. It's so funny watching him just light people on fire and then slash them with his little blade thing. I also really like reading the computers and uncovering more of the story through exploration. Enemies aren't too difficult, but can become overwhelming if you let their numbers get the best of you. Strategic fighting really comes in handy, and I enjoy the struggle of trying to find Rad-X before swimming or desperately looking for stim packs while in the heat of battle. The game really does feel real in the sense that you are forced to do things a real wasteland survivor would need to do. Crafting, cooking, modding weapons, making medical aid items, looting, making friends, fighting, helping factions, becoming better at surviving, and everything in between makes this incredibly full experience an endless source of enjoyment, fun, frustration, and discovery. And I haven't even talked about the main story yet. Having your son taken from your wife as you helplessly sit there unable to intervene really sets up the player to find and seek revenge on whoever kidnapped your child. And I don't even like kids in real life, so the fact that they got me to care about my child in this game is a freaking miracle. It also brings mystery into the story, something I like if you haven't noticed yet. Why would anyone want to take my baby? Why is my child so important? Only time will tell. For now, becoming acquainted with the wasteland is my best bet for survival. The Left Behind DLC to The Last of Us is another work of art by Naughty Dog. Despite it being roughly 2 hours long, it has a lot more to offer than I thought. I knew it was going to explain how Ellie got infected and it would showcase her friendship with Riley, but I was not expecting it to take place after Joel's injury. Jumping back and forth between past and present was a great way to fill some of the unexplained plot points and to show how Ellie patched up Joel before meeting David. I love playing as Ellie because she handles better than Joel. She can move faster, attack faster, and has a switchblade at her disposal. I especially love that switchblade because not having to craft shivs every time I want to stab someone felt awesome. Both past and present settings were in a mall, which is wonderful because it didn't force you to constantly change playstyles. Exploring the mall with Riley is a ton of fun, and I absolutely adore when Ellie makes fun of things we use in everyday life.
People bought this stuff? I don't get it.
Seeing these children look back on our world and wonder what it must have been like is funny and actually kind of soothing to me. Imagining that one day we might be living in a world like Joel and Ellie's, I definitely won't be leaving The Last of Us behind anytime soon.
Come on, get up here, sit next to me. All right, wait up. No. I just got on.
Now I know I said that none of these games were in any particular order, but if I had to pick one out of this list to be the top one, the best, my game of the year, so to say, it would have to be, without the shadow of a doubt, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. No. I'm just kidding.
Would you put this stapler down? Seriously.
For real though, this next game holds a very, very, very special place in my heart, and if I had to pick one favorite out of this list, it would definitely be this next game.
That treasure is as good as ours.
Shit.
How's the Malaysia job going, Nate? Seems like you're a hair off course.
Uncharted 4 took me by complete surprise. I did not think it would be as good as it really was, but man, was I wrong. This game is better than good. It is the pinnacle of the series and a must-have if you are a PlayStation fan. This game is pure gold. The soundtrack is thought-provoking and melodic. The story is very well-rounded and never sees a dull moment. Whether I was scouring an old graveyard in Scotland, shooting bad guys while swinging from a rope in Madagascar, or sneaking around in an old house with little Sam, I couldn't pull myself away. The emotional scenes pull on your heartstrings and the action scenes really get your adrenaline going. The setting is spectacular, the theme is fitting of Nate's greatest adventure, and just everything about the game brings joy to my heart and a smile to my face. Even little things really pull you into the game, like how cover slowly breaks apart as enemies shoot at you, or the dust that gets scoffed up when you slide to cover. Neil does an outstanding job at making you feel devoted, connected, and in tune with the characters. By the end of the game, I was so attached to the cast that I wished it didn't have to end. That is when you know you have something special. Oh, and let's not forget the savage troll Neo pulled on all of us about 3/4 of the way through the game. I won't spoil it for everyone who hasn't played, but for those of you who have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Uncharted 4 has taken a permanent spot in my heart as one of my favorite games of all time. I literally cannot put the perfection of this game into words. It's just one of those things where you have such a wonderful experience. You sit back, completely silent for a few good minutes before saying, man, I wish that was real. Life is full of adventures, and after playing this game, I can embark on those adventures with certainty that nothing will be left uncharted.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here.